Do you know what a cronut is? It's a croissant and a donut hybrid. Created by this French pastry chef, Dominique Ansel, who I made one of his recipes a few weeks ago. Is peanut butter chocolate crunch cake. It was lovely. However, that's not what I was initially planning on making. I was gonna make the cronut, and then I skimmed through the novel of a recipe and I just chickened out. That's not good enough. I wanna make this thing, so I've planned out 3 days. Yes, 3 days accordingly, and I'm gonna make a cronut over here. Now the thing I'm finding with these Dominique Ansel recipes is that they're just incredibly detail oriented. There's 6 pages for the pastry alone, and then there's an additional 4 pages for everything else. So it's just like one thing to make something, and then there's another thing to make it fancy looking. So I gotta get everything going now because there's no time like the present. So let's get everything we need for the pastry dough first. 524 grams of bread flour, 6 grams of salt, 64 grams of granulated sugar, 11 grams of instant yeast, 250 grams of cold water, 30 grams of egg white, 112 grams of softened butter, 15 grams of heavy cream. This cream is bad. This cream is bad. 15 grams of heavy cream that I'm gonna keep in the fridge until I need it. Clear a path, you guys, Silver Fox, you guys. Your last adventures got you all dusty. Does he not take care of you? I need a bowl for the stand mixer. I gotta add everything into this bowl, and I'm finding it hard to believe that that is how you're supposed to do it, but that is how you are. I'm gonna mix this for 3 minutes until it's like scraggy looking. It's kind of rough around the edges, and there's very little gluten development. Bowl was too small. My big bowl is being used for something else. What went over the edge? It was water, I think. I can replace water. Very little gluten development, I think. Rough around the edges, for sure. Thank you. And I am going to grease this up. Let's transfer the dough from this bowl into another bowl. Cling wrap has been firmly pressed down onto the surface of my dough, like so. And I'm just gonna put this into a warm spot for 2 to 3 hours. It needs to rise big time. 3 hours later, we have the dough that has risen into a really funny looking shape. I'm gonna remove the plastic wrap, and I need parchment paper. Also make sure, holy sh**. So firstly, let's just deflate the hell out of this thing. Get all the bubbles out of that son of a bitch. Onto the parchment paper. Shape into a 10-inch square. 10 and 10. Transfer to a sheet pan. That's bigger than a pizza pan. That will work. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna cover this sucker up in plastic wrap. This needs to go into the fridge overnight. Yeah, there's more I gotta do. Holy it's on here. Okay, I need to draw a 7-inch square on the parchment paper. With a pencil, I'm using a Sharpie. 7 inches. Flip the square over so that the ink doesn't get in my food. I need 250 grams of butter, softened. Spread this so it's evenly in the square. This book doesn't have photos, so I'm just kind of winging it. I feel like I've seen enough videos of people making like croissants and stuff to know this is kind of what you have to do, but I'm just kind of making shit up as well, which is always a risk. Oh, how did you get over here? Perfect square, kind of, pretty much, close enough. Let's get this into the fridge overnight. Day 2 means take the butter block out of the fridge because we gotta laminate. It should be still soft enough to bend slightly without cracking. Yeah, that's good. Remove the dough from the refrigerator, making sure it's very cool. I'm honestly just gonna keep the butter back in the fridge until I need it. Those steps are out of order. This dough from yesterday has really just turned into a giant pizza. Place the dough on a floured work surface. So I gotta tear this parchment paper off, which is risking everything. Using the rolling pin, roll out the dough to a 10-inch square again. Okay, it can't be any wider than that. Okay, I am happy with whatever that is. What is that? That is exactly 10 by 10. Okay. Arrange the butter block in the center of the dough so it looks like a diamond in the center of the square. A diamond in the square. Pull the corners of the dough up over the center of the butter block. Pinch the seams of the dough together to seal the butter inside. Butter is no longer visible. With a rolling pin using steady, even pressure, steady, even pressure. Roll out the dough from the center. When finished, you should have a 20-inch, gotta scroll, square, about 1/4 inch thick. What? Okay, so I gotta read that again. Running out of counter space. How am I gonna get this off the counter is the next question. Can't think about that right now. 19. I can't push it any further. How thick was this supposed to be? I already forget. 1/4 inch, good enough. Fold the dough in half horizontally. Making sure to line up the edges, you are left with a rectangle. Then fold the dough vertically so you should have a 10-inch square again. So I'm just gonna reuse the plastic wrap. Oh, big ol' heavy bastard. 1 hour. So we're repeating the steps that I've already done. We're just doing it again. The butter is more so here than it is here. I don't think it's supposed to just jam up in one location like that. A ducky. It's much easier this second time. So it needs to be a 20-inch square. So horizontally, 10 and 10. Okay, I gotta work fast here. Wrap this up in cling wrap as quickly as you can. Oh, I'm gonna put this into the fridge overnight. It needs to firm the up. Okay, so I was avoiding this step, but it's time now that I can't run away any longer. It's the ganache. I gotta make that a day in advance. Well, he recommended do it yesterday, but I didn't. So there's a vanilla rose, there is a whipped lemon, and a champagne chocolate. Now just to switch things up, I wanted to work with something like I'm not really familiar with, and if I pick the vanilla rose, which I am, a number of these different ingredients here I've never used before. So it's a good time to broaden my horizons. Of course, I'm familiar with gelatin. I'm gonna be using 1 gelatin sheet, 400 grams of heavy cream. Keep that in the fridge. This recipe's fancy. So a vanilla bean. Is this a vanilla bean? Vanilla pod. What we call a vanilla bean is actually the pod. Okay. Well, that's a relief. 90 grams of white chocolate, which I have to finely chop. And 4 tablespoons of, this is a new one, rose water, the essence of a rose. So a bowl of ice water, gelatin in the ice water, 20 minutes. The gelatin needs to bloom. So I have a vanilla pod here. I gotta split it lengthwise and scrape out these seeds in here. This is all a learning experience today. Once you split it in half, there is no seeds in here. Where are the seeds? I was under the impression that there'd be seeds in here. There's none. Like, it's... Oh, it's all on my fingers. I guess those are the vanilla seeds on my fingers. I was expecting like a chili pepper seed, but it's just these little things. It's like little insect. Okay, so I need to take those out. I feel like that's a very annoying task. Oh, it actually comes out quite easy. Learning something new. Isn't this fun? They appear to be seedless now. That's great. We need a pot. Combine the heavy cream and the vanilla bean seeds. My thinking was that I was gonna add this bean into the cream and have it infuse in there, kind of like a bay leaf or something, you know? And rereading this, obviously I was just so wrong. Okay, we gotta go back over here. This is such a waste, but what I have to do is there's another vanilla bean in here. I'll have to extract the seeds from this one. What a freaking idiot I am. I've never actually worked with this type of vanilla. I'm always just using that extract. Some of it's clumpy, I don't know why, but it's fine. Bring to a boil. Where's the rose water come in? I'm so confused why I needed rose water. Oh, this is boiling. Okay, so once this cream starts boiling with the vanilla, it's boiling like a son of a bitch. Holy shit. Take the bloomed gelatin and squeeze out any excess water. Okay, there's no time. Like, let's add this, mix that into the cream. It's off the heat. I don't know. Just for the record, I have literally no idea when the rose water comes in. The white chocolate goes into a small heat-proof bowl. Hot cream goes into the chocolate. Whisk the white chocolate in the hot cream until smooth. Add the rose water. Oh. Smells exactly like you'd expect. A rose. Just putting the plastic wrap onto the surface of the ganache. Fridge overnight. That's day 2. Good morning. It's Cronut day, which means we get to finish our cronuts and we get to eat our cronuts. Lightly flour your work surface. So I gotta roll this out into a 15-inch square this time, and it's gotta be like half an inch thick. Start from the center. You can see the butter, right? Like, it's not fully integrated into the flour. I think I was expecting it to, but I don't know if that's right or not, but that's what I got. I don't have anything big enough to hold this. I'm gonna parchment paper on a cutting board, and I need to get this onto here. Get yourself ready, half an inch thick. Okay, so I have roughly a 15 by 15 square, more or less. That's as close as I'm gonna. All right, I'm gonna get this into the fridge immediately. Please close, please close. It's much easier to get that out than it was. This is 3 inches and this is 1 inch donut cutters. And what I gotta do now is cut out my cronut shapes. Transfer that to there. Using the 1 inch thing, I'm gonna cut out the cronut holes. Spare parts, I don't know what to do with that. I'm just gonna use oil in my hands. I'm gonna cover these cronuts. Don't touch these now, they just have to stay right here. They're gonna proof 2 hours in a warm spot, which is right there. So more waiting. The situation right now is dire. I don't know if I'm gonna make it today. What's going on is there's a heat wave in London. It's 30 degrees in this kitchen right now. And I don't think that's the appropriate temperature for dough to be rising, right? Because there's lots of butter in that, and all that butter melted. I put the dough in the fridge. They're friggin' dying. Every single one of them is dying in front of my eyes. And now it's just a rescue mission to pull off having at least 1 cronut by the end of this video. They've risen as high as they're gonna rise. Now they're just turning into blobs. Keep them in the fridge for like 20 minutes so that they can firm up just a bit, and then I'm gonna deep fry them. To spend that much time on something and for it to just be ruined by the temperature in this room. I don't even know why I'm bothering to do this. It's not even worth my time. I know that. The oil's gotta be at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're gonna cook those for 90 seconds per side. Okay, I am calling off the frying. Nothing can be done to save these. Just a one-way ticket to hell doing that. If the dough gets too warm during the bulk fermentation, the yeast will expand more quickly than the gluten structure, and then the air bubbles will collapse on themselves. This is a test cronut. What? So I don't know where to go from here, if there is anywhere to go, or if this is the end. The way I look at this, I have 3 options. Option number 1, I quit, I give up, and I throw in the towel. Option number 2 is I have the leftover scrap dough that I didn't use when I was cutting out all the shapes. I wonder if I could do something with this, although I don't think at this point the layers that you would get in a croissant, like when you rip it open you see the layers, you're not gonna get that when you're reusing this, I assume. It's gonna be more of a bready look to it. And option number 3 is I just redo it. Yep, it's 3 days later. Careful, careful. Things are always easier the second time around. I've just focused on what I was doing, turned the cameras off. I halved the recipe so I didn't have to make as much as I did the first time around because that recipe made more cronuts than I knew what to do with. So when I was having these proof, they were just hanging out in the turned off oven for like 2 hours rather than just sitting out in the heat, although the heat wave is gone. So I learned this trick during the Krispy Kreme video, and it's just cutting out individual cronuts in this case. I don't have to grab it off the parchment paper, I can just take the parchment paper and plop it in. Not the parchment paper, just the cronut, but I slide it in. Yeah, you can see all these funny looking shapes on here. I was just taking some stuff for tests. This oil needs to be at 350 degrees. So you're gonna need some sort of thing, baking rack and like a tray. You can put the cronuts on here once you take them out of the oil. And I'm just gonna add some paper towels to my drying rack. I think that's a good idea. So you can see this is just a test pastry. I just wanted to see what would happen. If I open it up, golden on the outside and hot damn in the center. Turn out, turn out, turn out. So these have to be in for a total of 3 minutes. That's 90 seconds a side. Oh shit, it's 3 minutes. And we're gonna flip. The last one, in you go. Good luck, my friend. Good luck. These donuts are so big that they just they're like life preservers on the oil. And if you want to get them completely covered in the oil like I did on this one, you just gotta hold it down and make sure it's dunked like more than 3/4 of the way. But if you don't and you want that then don't do that. Oh, I kind of feel rejuvenated. There's like a second life to me right now. These look great. I shouldn't spin them. I'm gonna put these aside because we're not out of this yet, and I wanna be. So I made the ganache, remember 6 days ago? I made that. Vanilla rose ganache, which, okay, so he's referring to the ganache as a glaze now, which is fine. Oh, here's the glaze. I should have read the recipe. I really should have. I've had 6 days to make this and I haven't read all the way to the bottom here with the glazes. The ingredients for my rose glaze is rose water, got it, and glazing fondant, which I'm just reading this now. I don't know what the glazing fondant is, but I think I made a unicorn cake and I had to get some fondant to make a unicorn horn, and I didn't know how much I needed at the time, so I have lots of extras. Pâte à sucre, because it's from Belgium. Now this says glazing fondant. Is glazing fondant and regular fondant the same? I can't believe I have fondant. Some lucky kid I am. So I need 200 grams of this. So this is gonna go in the microwave, 10-second intervals. So when the fondant is slightly warm, 2 tablespoons of rose water. Stir until fully blended. This has got a long way to go. I think I should heat this up again. Is there a better way to stir this? With a fork and a freaking idiot. If you gave me any sign that this is what I was supposed to be doing. A whisk, maybe? It doesn't say, it just says stir it. Look at all those fondant chunks. That's it. I'm just gonna heat this up until it's completely melted. 46 seconds ought to do it. It. That looks more like a glaze now. Make flavored sugar, granulated sugar, and a vanilla bean. Fuck. I used all my vanilla beans for that ganache. I didn't buy any more. I really need to read all the way to the end. So I have decided that the flavored sugar is just gonna be regular sugar. Okay, so next up is just to assemble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps. Of course, why would there be less than 7 to assemble a cronut. Transfer the ganache to a stand. Guess who's back? This is the ganache from 5 days ago, which I'm assuming is fine. I haven't tried it, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna assume it's fine. I'm gonna add the ganache to the stand mixer. With the whisk attachment, I'm gonna whip up this ganache until it reaches stiff peaks. Fast, slow, I don't know. I'm gonna go fast. Stiff peaks. Cut a tip of a piping bag to snugly fit the Bismarck tip. I didn't know we were using piping bags today, and I don't know what a Bismarck tip is. Bismarck tip. I don't have a Bismarck. A Bismarck tip is like a, that's a Bismarck tip. So I recently invested in a piping bag nozzle tip collection because I was tired of never having anything that I needed. I've never used this before, but I've never seen a Bismarck tip before either. Who has a Bismarck tip? Do I have anything that's close enough to a... Okay, put that aside for a second. Let's move on to the recipe. I'll use one of these tips. I don't have the Bismarck. I'm never running out of piping bags again. I've made damn sure that I have enough for what I need. So the tip goes in, fill the piping bag with the ganache. So I have the pastries on standby, they're ready to go. What do I need to do? The flatter side facing up. Flatter side. I saw this on a cooking show once. Right. Inject the ganache through the top of the pastry in 4 different spots. So I'll just poke holes in this one and try it out. How do I poke a hole in it? Use a thermometer to poke 4 holes. Ganache goes in. As you pipe the ganache, you should feel the pastry getting heavier. I don't know, like, am I supposed to fill up the entire thing or? Okay, it's significantly heavier. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pipe in until there's no more room to pipe in, I guess. I've run out of ganache. I probably injected these with way too much of it. I got my sugar. I'm gonna roll the sides of these guys, completely coat that side. If the glaze is cooled, microwave for a few seconds to warm it. Then cut the tip of a piping bag to snugly fit an 803 plain tip. Oh my God. Oh, the glaze has hardened up. Of course it did. I made it like an hour ago. So I need the 803 nozzle. Put that in the piping bag. Adding the glaze, is it? The glaze, yes. That is still friggin' hot. Pipe a ring of the glaze around the top of each pastry. Uh-oh. Ah! Keep in mind that the glaze will spread as it cools. Oh, for f***ing sakes, this is like hot glue. So a ring around the freaking cronut. And I'm just making my ring big enough to cover the massive holes that I made from injecting the ganache. It's stringy. It's burning my hands right now because it's so hot. I should have let it cool, but the more cool it gets, the less flexible it is in doing this. So I kind of like this. I just gotta suffer for my art. I need this. Oh my God. Just get rid of the stringy bits. I'm just gonna keep those in the fridge until I need them. And boy, oh boy, do I have a mess to clean. Holy sh! Is that leaning more towards the donut side or the croissant side? Probably more on the donut side, but it's still got a little croissant in there. Either way, it's super soft, super light. Vanilla rose is a delight. Something this grandiose, I don't think I should be the only one taste testing this today. I think I need a second opinion. Do you want to try a cronut?
Yes.
Do you care which one? This, that,
I
Ooh, that's a good one.
Looks good to me.
Okay.
I've never had a cronut, like an actual cronut.
I didn't even know what they were a week ago.
Monday morning and I'm eating a cronut. Oh my god. That is so good. It doesn't taste like a donut. It tastes more like a croissant.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good excuse for me to see.
Like it has like a crispiness on the outside, but it's very airy. Amazing. Yeah, is it that? Where is it coming from?
The vanilla rose?
Yeah, it's like floral kind of.
It's like
I like it.
springtime.
I feel like I have to go work out now.
Yeah. This is my life.
That's amazing.
The f***ing Cronut. If you want to help me make this show happen, there's a couple ways to do so. Firstly, through Patreon, which is a monthly subscription, $1 a month, $20 a month. You're gonna have your name at the end of the videos, and anything earned towards that goes towards making the show happen. Future perks over there very soon, so stay tuned for that. I have t-shirts now, this t-shirt, a whole bunch of different other ones. I think I wear every single one of them in this video, so this video is like a t-shirt lookbook. Anything earned towards that also goes towards making this show happen, and a little goes a very long way. I have Instagram, I'm assuming you have it, so if you wanna just say hi to me over there, that can happen too. I'll see you guys soon, bye.